Would you like to design a clean and modern lamp and eventually 3D print it? If the answer is yes, this episode is for you. Hi, my name is Marek. I've been working as an industrial designer for the past 2 decades. Today I would like to share my professional experience and teach you how to design and 3D print a simple modern lamp. Here's the plan. I'm going to break down the process into 4 easy steps. Step 1. Lock in the design. Step 2. Model it in Blender 3D. Step 3. Visualize your idea. Step 4. 3D print it. Are you ready for it? Good, then let's go. So normally I would start sketching out the idea if it's a very unique design. But today we want to be fast and efficient. Therefore, I'm going to look at the already existing lamps out there and repurpose an existing design into a lamp. I would like to design a smooth and friendly looking lamp, and today I'm going to choose this object. It's actually a Wi-Fi router, and we're going to turn it into a lamp. So before we start modeling it, let's have a look at the package. We want to keep things realistic and simple. I'm going to divide this package into a top part, a middle part with the bulb, and a base. Once this is defined, let's go right into Blender. We're going to use the default cube and scale it down from 2 meters to 20 centimeters. Right after that, let's zoom in our little cube and adjust the units. I like to work very precisely, so I'm going to switch from meters to millimeters. As a next step, we switch into the front view, hit Tab, and go right into the edit mode. Here I'm going to add a simple loop cut to divide the cube and select the vertices, hit X and delete them. And now I'm going to add our first modifier. It's going to be the subdivision modifier. Here we're going to use 3 levels. 1, 2, 3. And then right click, shade smooth. Things are smooth and clean, right? What I did now was applying all transforms so that we can mirror the object. I'm gonna mirror it alongside the Z-axis. And then we're pretty much done. So what's next? Well, we want to divide our working space into 4 quadrants. Why? Because on the left side, I want to be modeling. On the right side, I'm going to start visualizing or rendering our lamp. And here, in this window, I'm going to switch to the image editor and look for our inspiration image. This is going to be our picture of our Wi-Fi router with this clean blue background. And here the timeline will be used for working on shaders. So I think we have set it up now, and let's continue modeling. I'm going to adjust the size and let's start with the proportion. Oops, let's redo this again. So let's scale down our cube and continue working on the radius. Here I'm gonna press I and inset. Then I'm gonna select the edges and hit GG and slide the entire loop in Z direction. Now it's time to apply the mirror modifier. Why? Because I want this to be one single object. Once done, I'm going to select the object and rename it 01 lamp. This is the time when I'm going to insert a split line. So Ctrl R for a loop cut. And now hit Ctrl B to insert a bevel. Let's adjust the value to 2 millimeters. Enter. And yeah, one segment is all right. Hit X and delete the entire row of faces. Here it is, our split line. Perfect. So now I'm going to separate the top from the bottom. And to do so, I just hit P twice. First of all for the top part, and now I'm going to do it for the base. Let's rename it 01 lamp top, and the other part is 02 lamp base. 02, please. Thank you. All right, we can now concentrate on closing the base and creating the middle part. So let's hide the top and select the base. Hit tab, go into edit mode, select the edges, hit F and close the face. This is going to be our middle part. I'm going to adjust the face, or like I'm going to model this. I hit I and inset the faces, and I also add a more crisp edge by inserting another loop cut. Good. I'm quite happy. So let's continue with the middle part. I'm going to select it. No. I'm going to select the top face, hit I, and fine-tune the middle part. First of all, let's select the entire set of surfaces. Good. Hit P and separate it. This is going to be our middle part. So let's rename it to 03 lamp middle. Perfect. It's time to give some shape to our middle part. And this is also going to be a smooth and friendly looking piece of surface. And watch this. Hit I, inset the face, scale it, extrude alongside the Z direction, scale it again, inset it and extrude it alongside the Z axis. And you can already see we are creating a very smooth shape. Where I'm going with this? Well, I want to create a ripple effect, similar to a drop of water hitting the water surface. Good. I'm happy. So now it's time to take the engineering package and paste it into our scene. This is going to be our engineering model of our light bulb and the socket. I'm going to position it right in the middle of the middle part because we want to eventually 3D print this model, right? Okay, so let's position it where it belongs. It's right in the center, and I'm going to rename this part into 04 light socket underscore engineering. I won't need it for the next phase that is going to be rendering or visualizing of the scene. So I'm gonna need an emitter. That's why I just added a simple UV sphere to the scene. And let's scale it. We don't need to be that precise, so I go roughly and scale it down manually. And now I'm going to turn this sphere into a stylized light bulb. Let's rename it to 04 light bulb. Good. Let's hide the engineering package and delete the bottom faces. Let's select another row and let's select the vertices. Hit E and Z's to extrude them. And now I don't want to bore you. I'm going to speed up the entire process. So if you are new to Blender, you will need to replay this section a couple more times. Here we go. So now I'm going to add a subdivision modifier to make it smooth and work on the lower part because I want to separate this bulb into a top and bottom part again. Okay, I hit P and now I have two parts, the light bulb socket, and now let's turn it into our first shader, the emission shader. I hit now 0 and look through our lens, through the camera of our scene. And I can see that this is going to be our first emitter bulb. So I increased the strength to 10, okay, done. And now I'm going to start rendering. So if I have a performant GPU card, I can select now the render engine called Cycles and switch to GPU compute. Okay, let's switch these two shaders. The light socket doesn't need any shader, only the bulb, and I'm done. So what if we work on the camera setting now? I'm gonna select it, switch to our modeling window, switch to the front view, and hit Alt-R to reset the camera rotation. Now I'm going to rotate it alongside the Y-axis and adjust the focal length to 140 millimeters to have less of a perspective, to get closer to our inspiration image. But the camera is tilted sideways, so let's select it and go into right orthographic view, position it more to the scene center and rotate it again. Good. Now it's looking funny. Let's rotate it so it's again looking more towards our lamp. And here we go. You can see it. I'm getting closer to our inspiration image and I'm going to do this at twice the speed. So it's time to adjust another shader. This is going to be the translucent shader for the top of the part, for the top of the lamp. Done. Here you can see I'm saving my files and I do this in a simple format: year, month, day, and the name. Today, boom, save as, done. Okay, I have now our translucent shader selected. You can see the values, roughness and weight are adjusted to 0.8, 0.9. And I think this is the time where we can start building our stage. I just inserted a box and scale it down to 2 by 2 meters and 40 centimeters in height. Boom, there it is. Okay, let's adjust this cube. I transformed it, so I'm going to hit now Control A, apply all transforms, and now I'm going to work on the radius. So I just added a bevel modifier, adjusted the radius size to 80 millimeters and 4 segments, and I have the first radius applied. I can't see it in my rendering, but I'm gonna see it later on. So let's work on the stage. I'm going to duplicate my box and create the first wall that I see on our inspiration image. This is going to be 20 centimeters thick, and I'm going to reposition it, place it behind our lamp. Boom! The first scene is done. And let's get closer to our reference image. So I'm gonna make this less wide, 1.5 meters, or yeah, no, I think we should go for 800 millimeters. Good, yeah, I can see now it's getting there. So I duplicated the wall and I'm going to select all 3 boxes and rotate them once I reposition them, because now I'm going to concentrate on getting the inspiration image right, or I want to recreate the inspiration image. So let's rotate the entire scene. And again, I'm working differently in 3D than in the real world. In the real world, we would reposition the camera, but here in 3D, we rather reposition our scene and have the camera locked. Okay, I'm not happy with the radius, so I'm going to readjust it to 4 millimeters and reposition our walls as well. Okay, I see in the inspiration image there are 2 walls and a third one in the back. So let's get closer to what we see in the inspiration image. Again, let's fiddle around with the scene. Okay, I want to see this corner in the front. Yeah. Let's play with it a bit. Okay, reposition the wall. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to be super precise because I just want to give you a feeling for how to recreate this with at least steps and effort as possible. Okay, let's adjust the scale of our walls. Let's reposition them again. And now I can see that I could go for 1.2 meters in width. Yes, getting closer there. Yeah. Okay, and let's reposition our second wall. I'm gonna delete it because I like the proportion of this wall much better. Okay. And now let's select the entire scene and move it so that I can see the front edge of our stage. Yeah, it's not really exactly like the inspiration image, but again, I want to get as close to the look and feel. But this is not an Excel sheet, so we don't need to do it super precisely. All right, I have now 3 walls. Let's just scale the stage. And I think we're almost there. Good. Let's adjust the width to 4 meters. Boom, this is going to be a large stage. So yeah, time to reposition the scene light. Because in the inspiration image, you can see our strong drop shadow. So let's concentrate on getting that drop shadow right. Yeah, let's reposition it this way. Okay, it's starting to cast the light. And here in our shader editor, I'm going to select the world. Why? Because I want to get this blue tint. To do so, I'm gonna select the color tab and there I choose sky texture. The default is the strength of 1. I'm going to readjust it to 0.3. It's still too strong. And now, click. Let's fiddle around with the drop shadow again. So let's go down with the sun intensity to 0.8 and let's work on the shadow. So here I'm manipulating the sun elevation and the sun rotation. There we go. Again, look close at our inspiration image. Sun intensity 0.2 should be fine, or 0.1 is even better. Done. Okay, so how to get that feel right? Let's work with our scene light. I'm going to reposition it. You see now, I did one hack here. I selected the pre-thumb preset in our world texture and I have this blue tint. And now let's create this more dramatic lighting situation. So again, you see, I manipulate the scene light and get a strong drop shadow. Yeah, I think I like where this is going, but now I can realize the proportion is off. So let's go back to modeling. I'm going to select the lamp top and the top set of vertices, hit G and Z and scale it down alongside the Z axis. Yeah, this is getting closer. And like you see, I have my shape even smoother than our reference image. I like the radius to be bigger. So it's time to add an important detail, the cable. To do so, I just inserted a Bezier curve and I'm going to position it at the bottom of our stage. Now it's time to add some flesh to our cable. So I'm going to click here on geometry and add 4mm thickness. Click on the option Fill Caps, and then I'm going to hit spacebar, and my preset already shows me the search bar, and here I select Object Convert to Mesh. Why? Because I want to add a subdivision modifier to make it a bit smoother. So again, subdivision modifier, crank it up to 3 levels, and let's switch to our shader editor and create a new shader for the cable. It's going to be the very basic principle BSDF, and let's just name it accordingly. But first of all, let's select some punchy color. I'm going to go for orange, since it's a complementary color, something that makes it pop. Good. Okay, I think this is it. So we can now simply save the file, because sometimes Blender tends to crash. And let's go to rendering. So first of all, let's define our file folder where we're gonna save our files, or at least the renderings. And once I've saved it, let's adjust the file format to JPEG, for instance, and do some color management. I go to Override and select a punchy look. Good, done. Subsequently, let's adjust the number of samples to 20 and 20 just to keep our render times much faster. Hit on denoise and let's adjust this to 4K. So 1920 times 2 are 3840 pixels and 2160 pixels. So let's start rendering it. Hit F12 or render image and wait for our rendering to calculate. It's coming together closely. Yeah, this is it. So let's save it. And that's our rendering. Well, let's imagine you have no time or no inspiration at all. So, hey, have I got a fix for you? It's called Monkey or Suzanne. This is a basic primitive and we're gonna repurpose it into a lamp. To do so, I'm going to pick the reference, which is going to be our lamp base, to adjust the size, scale the monkey head down, rotate it so that it can sit on our stage, and apply a subdivision modifier. Once I hit sub D, I'm going to crank up the viewport and render levels to 3 or 4 respectively. Right click, shade smooth. Then I'm just going to hit R and Z so I can rotate it alongside the Z axis and then adjust the scene so I can do a nice rendering. Isn't this cute? Now it's time to delete the entire stage and fine-tune the geometry so we can 3D print it. All right, I'm going to delete everything and crank up the levels here on the subdivision modifier to 6 and export our lamp top. So I deleted all the other files and export it as STL. Name it accordingly, lamp underscore print top 01 STL. And hit export. Done. Let's repeat the procedure one more time for the other parts, such as the base. Before doing that, I need to close the part. So I go into edit mode, hit tab, select the edges, and hit F to close the face. Hit I, inset to have a crisp edge, and again, crank up the subdivision levels to 6, file, export, STL. Name it correctly, print underscore base 02, export STL, and open up Orca Slicer. Well, now it's time to start the 3D printing. We're gonna import our first part the top part. It's in full scale, but I want to print these files as a validation of my design process. So let's hit scale and scale it down to half the size. Right after that, I'm going to save our file. Again, after my code, year, month, day, name. Hit save. And now let's import our second part, which is going to be the base. Hit this icon, import the base. It's going to alert us that there is a collision. We can ignore it because we're going to scale down the base as well. So again, 62, 62, 40 millimeters. And once done, I'm going to click on Arrange Objects and boom, it's nicely arranged. Let's just flip up the base upside down, click on it, select it, and then lay on face. Flip, done. Good. Let's adjust the menu strength and sparse infill density. Let's crank it up to 25%. And also choose gyroid under the sparse infill pattern. In variable layer height, we're going to adjust the quality and speed to 0.50. We will repeat it with the top part as well. And then we're going to build a supporting structure. And now let's print the plate. Send it. Congratulations, nice work. Please let me know in the comments below what you think of this episode. If you like it, please share it with your friends or those who might be interested in it. If you'd like to learn more in the future, hit the like and subscribe buttons and see you in the next one. Bye!